Well, good morning from Southern California. It's old Mike, old me living better. That's right. I see Granny, not Granny Pat, but I see that Sage Gardens is already in the chat. I'll answer your question in just a moment. But welcome to my monthly live chat. Remember, for those of you that watch the live chat, whoops, got to turn my sound down over here. I got too many things going on at one time. So, those of you that watch the live chat, either live or later, if you live in the US, and I'm going to open it up to Canada, if you live in the US or Canada, you can send me an email. My email is in the description of my channel. It's meoliving at gmail.com. And I'll send you a business card, cool business card, but I'll also send you my stickers. Now you can put those on your cup. I've got my sweatshirt on today. On my merch, you can get cups, you can get all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to hawk those necessarily, but that's what you can do. So if you're in Canada or the US, drop me an email, give me your mailing address. I won't use it for anything else. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I won't put you on a email list or anything. And trying to straighten my beard out here. Oh, brother. Oh well. I'll be happy to do that. So Sage asked me, Sage Gardens, who was in here before we got started, she said she was watching Granny Pat this morning. I gave a shout out to Granny Pat the other day. She's left all kinds of comments on my videos. All the stuff I mentioned in the chat today, I'll leave links after I get a chance to update the chat once it's been posted to the channel. Granny Pat is a hoot, man. I absolutely love her. But let's see. Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Yeah, your husband's name is Richard. I've been to your channel. Well, you're great on YouTube. I really love it. Um, let's see. What was the question you asked? Do you have a favorite TV show? Doc Martin. My wife and I watched Doc Martin. We probably binge watched it 5 or 6 times. The humor there just, absolutely cracks me up. Any hobbies? My current hobbies are I collect high-end, I use them, but I collect high-end Bibles. This is an ESV Schuler version, full gap Bible, and I've got a lot of Bibles. The other thing I collect is high-end knives. I really like knives, and so that's pretty exciting. So those are my hobbies. Uh, I want to talk about in the chat today a little bit about this month, September. I will have been on YouTube for 1 year. 1 year. And I'm planning to do a video on Monday about my 1 year experience on being on YouTube. A lot of things that I want to share, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what I've learned, what I wished I knew ahead of time. Uh, and I'm going to go over some of the things that I think are really important, especially for those people that are in my age range. If you're in the fourth quarter of your life and you're getting on YouTube, it's a different experience than if you're 20, 30, or 40. It really is, because most people in those age groups are looking to monetize their channel, make a lot of them make a business out of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us that are retired or semi-retired like I am, I don't have the time to do that. And yet I've only got 60 videos. A couple of those are shorts. Most of them are long form. I think I got 60 long form videos and 32,000 subscribers. So, I did that in 1 year without posting every week and doing a lot of the things that a lot of people say that we should do. I want to talk about in that video what real success is. Yeah, I'll wait till the video to talk about that more. Isn't it interesting this morning, Rob, the Maritimer, I just got through watching his video that he's noting, like a lot of us have, that our views are down right now. Yeah, there's a lot of us that have experienced our views being down. My most recent video, which I did on reinventing yourself after retirement, really fascinating. It's a 9 of 10. All right. You'd think that's terrible, right? But I checked my analytics this morning. It's got almost a 70% retention rate for the first 30 seconds, and 40% are watching it all the way to the end. That's better than any video I think I've got on the channel. So views views are not the whole thing, that's for sure. There's a lot of different ways to measure success, and my heart is right now. I want to produce content that helps people, encourages people, and so, that's sort of my main goal. So let me check, see, I'm looking at my phone. I've got it on my big screen here, but it's easier to see what your replies are on the phone. Buck Jones, hey, old man. Fairy Queen, hello, sir. And to everyone here. Forever Young, hey, Forever Young, it's great to see you here. You've got a great channel, great personality. Fairy Queen, congratulations to all who monetize already, and good luck to us who are not there yet. Carla Hartzog, hello. Okay, so I don't have any questions. If you have a question, uh, put three Q's in front of your Finding Dory. Hi, glad to see you. Um, put that in front of your comment, and then I will know for sure what's going on. Politics, nice to see you. Muscat Rant Productions. I got a good friend who's a subscriber who's at the Ryder Cup today, and so I get inside comments from all kind. It's amazing. All the subscribers I have, I absolutely love them all, and it's really great. Now, if you're just joining, remember, if you would like a one of my free stickers and you live in the US or Canada and want a business card, send me your mailing address to my email. I won't use it for anything else. You can stick it on your cup or whatever. And it's meoliving at gmail.com. It's in my description of my channel. Send me an email, give me your mailing address, and I'll send you a couple of stickers and a business card. I'd be happy to do that. So, how many of you are making goals for 2026? Are you doing that yet? This is the time to do it. It really is. Uh, I started thinking about goals for 2026 yeah, this month. And part of it was getting ready to do the video on what it's like being on for 1 year, what I've learned and everything. I've already mentioned several times that, I've gone down rabbit holes with shiny objects and all kinds of things, but I'm trying to figure out now. I the best way I can describe it is whatever I'm going to do, I want to measure it against its sustainability. Is it something that I can sustain? Do I have enough time to sustain it? Several things that I've started in the past, I wasn't able to sustain, and I had to drop those things, which was a real problem. So let's see. I love these. Happy YouTube anniversary. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate it. What are my goals for 2026? I'm going to give them to you real quickly right here. I got a couple of things I want to talk about that I think might be helpful for everybody too. But here's my goals. I'm going to the other video I watched this morning besides Rob the Maritimers was the video with Sean Connell and Caleb Ralston. I'll leave a link to that in the description later. Caleb Ralston, interesting guy. Though they've both been around for a long time. And they're talking about some of the changes coming on YouTube and how it's different. These guys have been on for 10 years or longer. I've only been on for a year, but one of the things that they talk about is the difference between shorts and long form. They go over some very important things. I encourage you to watch that video. I here's the deal. I'm never gonna be one of those guys. I'm not gonna make a six-figure income. I don't want a six-figure income. I'm semi-retired. I got enough income even without YouTube. I'm doing this as an adventure. It's a hobby. It's fun. Yeah, I'm making a little bit of money from AdSense, sponsorships, affiliate, and that kind of stuff. But it pays my YouTube bills. It gives me the ability to buy a camera, upgrade systems, and stuff like that. But it's I I doubt if I'm gonna make enough money, beyond what my original goals were. My original goal was in 1 year to have 5,000 subscribers and making a thousand a month. Well, I've exceeded that goal already in 1 year, and I'll share more about that. My goals for 2026, I really do wanna start a community. I'll probably do a Skool community, but I'll wait till 2026 to do it. I want to start a community for YouTubers in the fourth quarter of their life. Yeah, I don't have anything against younger YouTubers, but the way you approach YouTube at my age is so different than say Alexa Serenoya, which I give her a lot of shout outs. I love Alexa, Ty Myers, both of these people, but they're replacing full time incomes. I don't need to replace the full time income. I can learn from them, and it's interesting. This morning, Caleb Ralston said, best practices. I use that term a lot, finding best practices. He said, once you find a best practice, is no longer best. I think, and he went on to explain that the best practices right now on YouTube are changing really fast. I mean, all the crazy stuff that YouTube is starting to roll out, some of it is horrible, some of it is maybe okay. So one of my goals for 2026 is start a YouTube community. I'll probably make it a paid community because I've had bad experiences in community that don't have at least a minimal entry level fee. I may experiment with shorts. I did shorts in the very beginning. I haven't done a short in a long time. A short strategy does make sense, and but so I'll experiment with that in 2026 maybe. I do need to fulfill my promises for my newsletter. I've got almost 1,000 subscribers to it, never mailed to it once. If you wanna subscribe to it, do it. So, one of the things I'm working on, and I got the idea from Caleb Ralston. Caleb did a 6-hour masterclass. I did It was fascinating. I watched the entire 6-hour masterclass, not at one time, and, I'm wanna do a 1-hour masterclass for baby boomers and those who are older. Baby Boomers Plus. It'd probably be an hour and a half, and I wanna share in that masterclass all of the details, that I've learned and some of the steps I've taken, to get to where I am as a part-time senior YouTuber, and, I'll do that for free. I'm working on a workbook that goes behind that, and then when that happens, I'll send that to my email list and do some other things with it, and that'll be free also. But I got to get some things in place, before I get to that point. Well, let's see here. Well, you guys are really talking together. That's great. Jill Gustafson, welcome to the chat. Appreciate all of you guys. A couple of the people I see here. Where was it? Simply Fit Physical. How are you doing? You finished your exercise. uh, you can always click on the avatar of the people in the group and go to their YouTube channel to see what they're up to. I am doing a physical exercise program. I'm using a kettlebell. Some of the stuff that I learned from Simply Fit Physical, I'm doing some of those exercises. I am 81, and so balance is a big thing. My phone keeps telling me, "Hey, you're going to fall over, dude." So I've been working on that for about a month now, and I'm going to continue to do that. So if I don't have any questions, I'm going to share with you a couple of thoughts that I had. This is from the book Wealthy and Well Known. Yeah, they should have retitled the book. I don't like the title of the book. But Rory and AJ Vaden, Rory also wrote the book Take the Stairs. I love that book. That's a great book. You should get either one of those. But I referenced something he said in the video that I just did on retirement that's really important. Uh, Rory talks about Simon Sinek, his book on finding your why, and I've talked about that a lot. I think it's important that we find our why, our passion, why we're on why we are on YouTube. Rory says, but you also need to find your who. So the quote I used in the video, maybe I didn't explain it very good in the video. I don't know. He says, "You are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were." So, in other words, and even Caleb mentioned that in his interview this morning. If you look back at where you were 10 years ago, for him it was like 21 or something like that. And what would you say to yourself that your 10-year younger self? Well, for me at 81, that'd be 71. What would I tell myself that was 71? Rory suggests that your who, which is your audience, your audience is everybody who watches you. You want to be best in the world. Forgot the guy who said that, Seth Godin. You need to be the best in the world, but not the whole world universe, but your world, the world that watches you. I want to be the best for all of you that are in this live chat this morning, and for my subscribers. Well, to do that, I got to figure out who you are. So Rory suggests the best way to figure out who your audience is figure out who you were 10 years ago. And he puts that in an area that he calls psychographics. This is on what page? This is on, who cares what page it is? Oh, 112 in the book. And he says, when we talk about psychographics, what we really are talking about is what is going on inside the mind of the person we're trying to reach. So, what's inside of your mind this morning that I'm trying to reach? If you don't ask any questions, I don't know. But I got a lot of comments. I love community. I think engagement is probably the best metric for success on YouTube. But I love this concept. I want to try and figure out what is in the mind of the person that I'm trying to reach on YouTube. Well, the best way is now if I'm trying to reach 20-year-olds, I got to look at myself 40 years ago. I ain't going to do that. I can't remember that long ago. But I can remember what I was like at 71. I was on when I turned 70, I gave myself a 10-year plan to preach until I'm 80. Most of you know that I pastor a church, so I wanted to preach till I'm 80. So at 70, I did that goal. I think if I was advising myself now, looking back, I would have prepared myself better for when I actually hit 80. Because when I hit 80, it was very dramatic for me. I didn't know if there's anything else. Am I going to write another 10-year plan to preach till 90? What am I going to do? I can sustain some things, but some things I can't sustain. So this concept of psychographics, Rory goes on to say, it's what is going on in someone's head that is not your own. Well, the way you do that is figure out what's inside of your head. He has a list of questions. I'll read them off to you. These are all in psychographics. Again, recommend you get the book, Wealthy and Well Known. I'll leave descriptions again in the once I get the live stream posted. Here they are. There's about 10 of them. What does this person care about most? In other words, I'm thinking about me at 70. Okay. What does Mike at 70 care about most? What does this person want or need? What is this person searching for? What is this person's passions and interests? What is this person's biggest life mission or goal? What are the person's limiting beliefs? What questions does this person need answered? What is holding this person back? What is this person feeling? What keeps this person up at night? There it is. Those are the ten questions. Now, when I read the book, I sat down and I actually wrote out each of these questions and I pretended I'm talking to myself when I was 70 years old. And I was amazed because the answers that I came up with are going to form anywhere from 5 to 10 future videos. Probably I won't get to them until 2026, but it stimulated my thinking. It gave me a benchmark, a way to go forward with some of the things on my channel. That was pretty exciting. Speaking of passion, another book that I really like is The One Thing. Let me check the chat before I talk about that, though, and see what's going on here. Um, Carla Herzog says 10 years ago, I was grandmother of two, thoroughly in love with my grandchildren, teaching the 5-year old to do crafts. That's cool. Well, you could apply some of this probably to that. I don't know. Lots of my watchers are my kids' age. Yeah, go figure. It is interesting that when I take a look at my analytics, that uh, so I try to target fourth people in their fourth quarter, and yet that's probably just a little over 50% of my audience. It depends on the time of the month and what's going on, but my audience is sometimes 60% Gen X, Gen Y. These are people that would be in their 30s to 60s. And of course, I get a lot of comments from that age group that they're inspired if I can, my motto, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. So basically, I'm telling them that, you're never too old or never too young, to do this. But so let me give you a little insight. The One Thing, this is a great book. Gary Keller with Jay Papstein, The One Thing. And I get a lot of questions about passion. I did a video on on the polymath. I'm a polymath. I have a lot of interests, a lot of hobbies, a lot of different things that I really like, and and that's really important to me. But in the idea of narrowing down the niche, it's very hard for me to narrow down the niche. And if I try to narrow down so much, and of course, people, if you're running a business selling a product, I can understand niching down. But for most of us that have a lot of interest, it's really hard. But here's a quote that I got from The One Thing I really like. Often the line between passion and skill can be blurry. Often the line between passion and skill can be blurry. That's because they're almost always connected. So I talk a lot about in the polymath video that I did that what I want to do on YouTube is combine my passion and my skill in such a way that I'm able to articulate that in my YouTube videos. And in regards to what we talked about, what Rory Vaden says, I want to do that to my 10-year-old self, the person I was 10 years ago. So that's part of the process. Often the line between passion and skill can be blurry. That's because they're almost always connected. Pat Matthews, one of America's great impersonationist artists, says he turned his passion for painting into a skill and ultimately a profession. Let me jump down. Passion for something leads to disproportionate time practicing or working for it. I want you to think about that. That really is important for the polymath. The polymath, like me, I think I listed 20 different passions, and I gave some of them in that video that I did on it. So, but to have something that's marketable or something that's watchable, it's more than having a passion; it's having a skill in the passion. And that's what the author of the book is saying here. Passion for something leads to disproportionate time practicing or working on it. I had a passion for surfing as a young teenager. And let me tell you, I spent a lot of time in the water, a lot more than my parents ever wanted me to be. But I turned out to be a pretty good surfer. I was a longboard surfer, surfed all up Southern California and Northern California, and retired a few years ago. But, you don't become a good surfer the first time you go in the water. And so you have to match your passion with the amount of time that you spend practicing it. Author goes on to say that time spent eventually translates into skill. You develop a skill. And when skill improves, results improve. Better results generally lead to more enjoyment and more passion and more time invested. So basically, I moved from passion to skill, and then I can take that skill and I can use it in such a way, when it comes to YouTube anyway, to share content from my passion and from my skill that makes sense and helps people to grow on YouTube. Us by Ken Robinson. His book was about meeting passion. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Sage, you're really doing great in the chat today. Wow. Carpe Omne after 60. Hello. Annette here from Central Alberta. Part of my watching you is to give me ideas for myself as I age, knowing that being creative can continue until death us do part from this life. Wow. Well, of course, my theme: if you ain't dead, you ain't done. And I've been working with seniors now for almost 40 years. And I've seen, related to the retirement video, I've seen people hit retirement. They get into the vacation phase of retirement, and it takes them a while to get to the reinvention stage. But I've seen a lot of people give up in retirement. Yeah, they enjoy it for a while, but you don't have the purpose you did. In my work life, I had purpose. Well, I'm still pastoring a church, so I have purpose there. But when I hit 80, I realized that I couldn't pastor a church forever. Now, I don't know if I can do YouTube forever. As long as I can sit down behind the uh, podcast microphone, I can. Some of you saw my review of the Dash Moto, my mobility scooter. You get to see what I really look like at 81 years old. Oh, my word. But I think that we can always be learning, and until the very end. That's what life is all about. I continue to learn, I continue to grow. I grow until there's no more to grow. That's when I die. But I'm not dead yet. So I keep on going. I think the secret is as you age and to maybe get a little closer to answering this question from Carpe, uh, is that I need to be more selective. When I was younger, I could do 10 things. I've discovered now that I'm older, I can't do 10 things. I might be able to do 1 or 2 if I'm lucky. So, I've learned this in YouTube. I think the biggest mistake that I made in started in early on my YouTube channel was trying to do too many things. I sat down with a friend of mine unrelated to YouTube, and uh, I was asking them. We were talking about my life and what I do. I'm a full time caregiver for my wife. I pastor the church. I do YouTube. My family, a bunch of things. Well, he said, "What's the ROI on all of those?" In other words, return on investment. Well, I have a lot of interest in helping my wife, being alongside of her. We've been married 60 years this year, so that's pretty exciting. The church, likewise. I found that YouTube has an amazing return of an investment for me. Might be not for everybody, but it is for me. It's the amount. I have 7,000 comments on my messages. Remember, I only got 60 long form videos. 7,000 comments. I think I got 14,000 shares. People like the content enough, they've shared it. And then the comments, oh my word, I read every comment. If you ever commented on one of my videos, chances are you got a reply from the comment that you left in my video. And I don't have an automated program that answers all of those. I look at every one of them. And the other thing I do is I look at your channel. Now, a lot of people leave comments, don't have channels. They've got a YouTube account. But if you have a channel, I go look at it. That's how I found Sage Gardens. That's how I found Granny Pat. Granny Pat left a message, and I went and looked at hers. So I go look at all of the channels. Then when I come back and leave a comment, I can leave a comment that makes more sense, and the person knows that it's not a canned comment or something from an AI program. Man, AI programs. Uh, a couple of great videos out on that. I'll see if I can find them and leave them in the description. Uh, AI could ruin YouTube. I watched one of the guys I really appreciate, and he said AI could ruin YouTube because you can make a YouTube video with your face in it and everything else, and nobody knows the difference. I don't know whether that's gonna be the future. I do know that as I look at my feed, I'm getting more AI generated content than I ever have, especially in the shorts feed. So much so that I don't even look at the shorts anymore. But problem is that AI is synthetic or artificial no matter how you frame it. I think going forward, those of us that are doing talking head videos and those of us that are invested that way, putting our face on the screen. I know a lot of you. I don't nothing against AI and nothing against those of you that don't want your face on the screen. I'm not trying to communicate that, but I think the talking head video, the in-person relationship is not dead. I think we will stand out as we go forward in the future. So I know it took a long time to answer that one question. Whoa. Michael Stringer, purpose is such a powerful word that in my 60s now, I have become to realize how important it is. Burning the candle at both ends of my 30s. Oh man, we've done that. That's for sure. Um, I'm at the reinvention stage, Carpe says. Life is interesting, and there is so much to appreciate and enjoy. And yes, getting very selective now about how I go forward. Michael Steiner says, I think the stories of people pivoting in their life are extremely interesting. That's true. I think, I don't know whether pivot's the right word. I had to think about pivoting versus reinventing. I don't like the word reinvention either because I'm not reinventing myself. I'm the same person I always have been. I may be pivoting, taking a different direction. I think in the retired video, I talked about taking my passion and my skill and what I've learned and putting that in a different direction. Who I am now, I've got the 80 years of experience in the Marine Corps, married for 60 years, pastored for 50 years, worked with seniors for 30 years. So, all of that plays into it, but I am who I am, my personality, my character, the way I express myself, all of that is me. Now, AI can reproduce some of that, reproduce my face and do all that. But on the fly, I don't think AI could ever do a live chat. Whoa, I just thought of that. Could AI do a live chat? Well, it probably could, but it couldn't do it as well as you and I can do it live. Have you done a live chat, by the way? Not all of you have. My friend Mark Osborne just did a live chat, is experimenting with it, and he's doing pretty good with it. But man, going live can really be scary. Carla says it occurred to me the other day that AI could ruin the movie industry for actors. Man, yeah, there's a lot of discussion of the good, bad, and the ugly of AI. I don't know what the future is going to be. My grandkids are listening to AI music. They like it better than the regular music. Yeah, the future is really interesting. Simple Fit Physical says, I was thinking, I'm not using your name because I don't know if I got permission to do that. I was thinking the same thing about AI doing a live chat. It could probably be more coordinated. I gotta be more coordinated. I don't know. But I like mistakes. The problem with AI, it doesn't make mistakes. Think about that for a moment. It's too perfect. My last video, the video I did on my dash mode of my scooter. Oh man. Uh, that was for a sponsor I have, and I created that video. Well, I left my license plate of the car in the video. I didn't take the time in CapCut to blur it out, so I forgot that. So now it's up there. I had a couple of people say, "Hey, you need to take your license plate out." So I did what I hate to do. I went into the YouTube Studio. You can edit your video in YouTube Studio, but they warn you whatever you change, you can't rechange it. You can't go back. You're stuck with it. That's what they say in so many words. So I go in there and I watched a couple of videos on how to add the blur. I go in there and I do that. I think I've got it down. Yeah, I blurred out the license plate. I'm ready to go and I hit save. So it processes and I go back and look at it. That blur spot in the middle of the video did blur out my license plate, but it went on for another minute and a half or 2 minutes. Matter of fact, when I got back on, my face is the blurs over my mouth. Maybe that's divine providence. God says, you got to shut up, buddy. I don't know. Anyway, you make mistakes along the way. I've made a lot of mistakes in my videos. For the most part, I leave them up. I don't think I've ever done a video twice, and I don't think I've ever killed one off and redid it. Now, remember, where are we at? We're a little over halfway through. For those of you that just joining, if you like one of my free business cards and you'd like to have free stickers, and you live in the US and Canada, I'm opening this up to Canada. I may open up worldwide, but for right now, I'm US and Canada. Send me an email, me old living. That address is I'll leave it in the description, but it's also in my channel the description. And you can email me your mailing address, and I will send you these stickers and my business card. You can put them on a cup. Of course, you can always buy my merch, get your cup that way, and support the channel. But I'm happy to send those for free. I won't use your email. I mean your physical address for anything else. I'll destroy that afterwards. So, well, let's see. Let me check the. Got a really nice active chat going on today. Yeah, Cynthia says I think the editing must be the hard part, the hardest part. Forever Young Mike, I caught AI making several mistakes on some research I was doing for my video. The AI apologized for me. AI cracks me up. I use Chat GTP. I'll call it out, and then the nicest. Oh, we're really sorry. We blew that. Absolutely cracks me up. Paula Spick, if anyone in the chat would like some accountability Monday a.m. Eastern time, I'm happy to help with some co-working. Well, Paul, I'm not sure what you're offering, but I like your channel. You can't trust AI even for research unless you tell it to give you references. Yeah, that's a good idea. I do ask it for references often, and the way I use AI now, which I like to do, I will create a video and then I will get the text of the video I usually don't script the video, so I don't have a video script. So I will turn on my AI recorder to record the video, and then I'll turn that into text, and I'll drop that into Chat GTP, and I'll ask it to give me an optimized SEO description for my channel. It does really good at that. Now I do have to edit it also a little bit from there. That's one way that I use AI. I do use some AI for research, both for my preaching and for my channel. But the truth is, especially from the preaching side, it needs to come from my heart. It needs to be spirit enabled, not AI enabled. And I think for your YouTube, it needs to be heart enabled. Yeah, you can get to gain the facts and all of the things that maybe you would spend a half a day in a library doing. But on the other hand, I think it's so important that whatever you're doing, whatever you're teaching or sharing, is coming from your heart. I think that's the most important thing. uh Sage Gardens, Ruth says, I'm a writer. I have asked to write an article for me once. And since I had interviewed the subject, I knew that the facts were, I totally got them all wrong. In a past life, I was a ghostwriter. We didn't have AI at the time. And, I put a couple of things into AI that I've rewritten and asked it to rewrite it. And in my own opinion, it stunk. So I think we all have to be careful about using AI. Whether my friend is right that AI is going to destroy YouTube or not, I don't know. I think those of us in the space that we're in, we can continue to produce quality videos, and as long as our expectations, I think it's so important that our expectations are modest. Uh, I've been fortunate enough to get the subscribers I have, but uh, in the long run, I'm more interested that one or two people that would watch one of my videos, their life would be changed. They would feel better. They would start something. They would make a change. And some of those people never reply to you. You don't know the effect that you have on at any one time the people that you are creating content for. I think that's the power of YouTube, and that's why I think it's so important to keep in mind that I'm only talking to one person. I'm only talking to Ruth and to Diane and to George and in the chat here. I know you're all here, but I'm only talking to you. When I do my YouTube channel, I'm only talking to one person. That helps me put things at least into perspective. So that's where I'm at, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, Chat GTP will write in your own voice. I played around with it, gone back and forth. I do believe it's a wonderful tool used in the right way. But that's not the purpose of my video today. I'm running out of gas, and I got an appointment coming up that I need to get to. I wanted to get on today mostly to talk about being on YouTube for a year. It has changed my life. I will admit to that. Uh, and I wouldn't say always in every case for the better. Um, I've gone through a couple of spaces in my journey over this last year that I kind of got into a funk, mainly because of getting concerned about all of the wrong things and losing my purpose and passion. Happy anniversary! Thank you for that. Yeah, talking to one person. Thank you, Michael. Um, I got to stay in my lane. If I have any advice for all of us today, it's stay in our own lane. Um, Once I get out of my lane, I'm in trouble. I've had a little difficulty figuring out what my lane is in the fourth quarter. For a while, I didn't start out doing YouTube videos about doing YouTube. I started out with YouTube videos about growing to be 80 years old. And then my viral video sort of pushed me into the YouTube guru expert. And I'm not either one of those space with a lot of people asking me questions. So, um, yeah, I'm happy to respond to those. Those tend to be do well from a monetization and a viewer standpoint. But the video that I like the best is my video on my adoption story. The comments that I've gotten in that video and the feedback and the emails, the DMs that I receive from people who are adopted or have adopted kids, the feedback in that has been wonderful. And I share in that video about the relationship to my birth mother and my adoptive mother. I didn't know my birth father, but I did know my adoptive father. And my adoptive father, on his deathbed, the day before he died, he leaned over and he said to me, "I'm sorry I haven't been a better father." That was tough for him. It's tough for me. I was 16 years old at the time. Didn't understand what it was, but it was something he needed to get off of his chest. I reflect on that because I don't on my deathbed, I don't want to roll over to anybody's and say, "I'm sorry I didn't," and then you fill in the blank. I share that often with people. My dying father's deathbed confession to me. At the end of my life, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. But at the end of my life, I don't want to have to make confession to my son, my daughter, daughter-in-law, grandkids, great grandkids, my wife, or the people around me. I don't want to have to make confessions that I wasn't better or I hadn't done something. In this life now, we need to make every day count. That's a great thing about YouTube. You can make every day count on YouTube. And I love it because of that. It's really wonderful. So I've enjoyed the chat today. Let me see what time is it. 10:47. I'm going to bail out now a little early. Usually I go an hour, but like I said, I have another commitment coming up soon. And let me see, where did my pointer go? There it is. So glad you're all here today. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for all of you. You guys are really great. You have a great day. This is old Mike, old me living better. Remember, send me your address in my email. I'll send you some stickers and a business card. Okay. Have a great day. Talk to you later.